me shelter. Simple life, it's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter. Yeah.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the We Too Are Librarians Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. Again, this is your one and only platform, the platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia. We're excited to be out here tonight to broadcast to you our show tonight. I am going to be your host, as usual, C.H. Williams. And so if you have Tony, I ask you to begin to share this live with as many people as possible. Again, you can like, share, comment, or subscribe. What is our topic tonight? It's a pretty simple topic. It's an exciting day for me. Sad, but I'll say exciting because today marks the birthday of my deceased mother. Though she's not here, but I strongly believe she's here with me in spirit. She was my hero and everything. And so tonight's show is actually dedicated to her and to all mothers around the world, mothers who are down and sometimes are discouraged. I want you to be encouraged, to know that, it is going to be okay. Though mom is gone, but she's still alive. That's what I believe. And so tonight, once again, I am your host. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a pleasant night tonight. Well, I would like to begin tonight's show by first and foremost thanking everyone for tuning in. And also just to make a rectification of a statement the last show that I had with the Misfit quote. Often that quote is misattributed to Steve Jobs as a poem or whatever, but it's actually this poem actually was developed in the late '90s. Back then, Apple's image in the computing space and was the Macintosh. It was actually Macintosh that the computer that actually created this, but it's misattributed, and so I wanted to make the correction because I know that I said that the quote was Steve Jobs and it was Microsoft instead of Apple computer. I just want to rectify that before I could continue with the show. So that's a rectification. Now we can jump right into our show tonight. Again, this is the We Too movement. Our mission here is we are dedicated to empowering the socially and morally conscious youth. Our platform aims to educate, cultivate, and empower young men and women who are passionate about addressing the injustices and hardship in society. We seek individuals who are ready to take responsibility and work towards making a positive change. If we were to ask what our vision is, and this is one thing that we want to do, we want to make this a culture where everyone would know our mission, especially our followers, and also to know our vision. Our vision, we aspire to be the premier movement in the first century, 21st century, and also to set the standards for our counterparts. That's just a little background of who we are. And so if you're interested, you can subscribe again, like, comment, share the show tonight. Our topic, pretty simple topic, the need for courage, life and death is in the tongue. So I'm not going to go any further, but just to get right into our topic tonight. Why did I actually come up with this title for the show tonight? Like I said tonight, today marks the birthday of my mom, who was my hero. And this goes back to many years, many years. Why I left Liberia, the life that I lived, I felt that I was being deprived of my rights. I was humiliated. There was a lot of things that happened. I was marginalized. I came from a family where I thought, to a large extent, was somewhat dysfunctional. And the fact that I saw those things and wasn't very happy with those things that were happening, I thought that the way that I could rectify or rewrite the wrong was to take a leap of faith and, just go out, make life for myself. Um, owing to the fact that I came from a family, again, that I thought to a large extent was somewhat dysfunctional. Raised by grandparents, mom, dad, stepmom, it was just toxic. Thank God, for the quality education foundation that was given me, but it was a lot of things that happened, and I wasn't really, really, really happy with. So tonight's show is basically to encourage someone. It's to encourage some mom who is there, who thought that, or who is thinking that it is over. It is not over until it is over. So we want to encourage you. We want to also come out here to inspire some young man, some young woman who is at the verge of giving up tonight. Just by watching the show, it's really going to change your mindset. It's going to give you hope. It's going to change your perspective of life, because where you come from, who your parents are, where you live, your address, does not really determine your tomorrow. You have to push. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep, mustering the courage, pressing on, and hopefully, life is just going to take a different turn. Hopefully, it's going to be in a positive direction. If you keep pushing, believing, your hope, your everything that you pray for, everything that you aspire to be, if you imagine it, it's sure going to come to reality. Again, tonight's show is dedicated to all of the moms around the world. Tonight, this show is dedicated to my mom. So back in 1997, when I took the race to actually embark on this journey, a friend of mine named Zeza Rennie, who was a conductor on this bus, they took to Liberia, and I had just finished my national exam, and I thought that the way around changing my life, to discover my true self, because I believe strongly that there was something more to me than just where I was. There was something more to my life than just my domain at the time, because there was a lot going on. I felt, like I said, I felt disenfranchised. I felt humiliated. I felt belittled. I felt looked down upon. And so to change the trajectory and the story, to change my narrative, I had to do something. Just considering all of the things that my mom went through, I wanted to make a difference in her life. I wanted to change the narrative. I wanted to change her story. And I wanted to change the life of my siblings, family members, and I wanted to change the world, because I felt, as little as I was, as young as I was, I knew that there was something more to me than just my domain, than just my family, than just my brothers and my sisters. And so that in order for me to be able to achieve and to accomplish that which God has deposited in me, I had to take the leap of faith. So we embarked on the journey where a friend of mine assisted me, and I got on this bus, from Liberia to Ghana. It was a big struggle just to get on that bus, because there was a lot of query here and there that I couldn't get on the bus because there were other conductors on the bus. Thank God, and thanks to my friend who was able to advocate on my behalf after I talked and promised that when I get to Ghana, I was gonna, make the payment just for $100. So then I would get on this bus from Liberia, Logan Town, to be specific. I stood on this bus all the way through Ivory Coast. We got to Ghana, where I would live life as a refugee for a year and approximately maybe 7 months before I was given the opportunity to travel to the States. But getting to Ghana, my expectation was really high, and because I was going with a friend of mine, and I just wanted to go and see what life was, because I felt as though whatever I was going through at home, I just couldn't take it no more. After a lot was said to me, just by my brother, my dad, stepmom, and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, I'll do it. I'll take a leap of faith, step out of the box, and try life and see where I was going to land. So I'm in Ghana, and I begin to experience tough life. Life was just difficult. It was tough, and there was no way out. I just didn't know where to turn, because the friend of mine who actually helped me get to Ghana had, begin to go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and then decided that he was going to return to Liberia, fell sick, and all that kind of stuff. The story goes on and on and on. So he finally made a decision to travel back to Liberia. Now he gets on the bus, head back to Liberia. I'm left in Ghana, hopeless. But just before that, with the difficulties that I was experiencing, I decided that I was going to write my dad and mom. Wrote my dad, apologizing, wanted to go back to Liberia. Wrote my mom as well. And the content of my mom's letter. My mom was not literate. She was not literate. She could not really read and write. But she took that time. She took upon herself to write back. Dad never wrote back. Dad was upset for whatever reason. I live a life down there. Never had any extended support. There were days where starvation was the order of the day. What to wear, how to even bath, how to even clothe myself, before you talk about, hygiene. It was difficult. Then where I live in a room without a window. I'm saying this is a fact. This is a true story. The book says that we overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So this story is not for me. It's actually my story, but this is a story to restore hope. This is a story to actually, give you hope. If you find yourself in the positions where now you feel as though it is over, I'm saying to you that I'm a living testimony of difficulty. I'm a living testimony of poverty. I'm a living testimony of being hungry. I'm a living testimony of being homeless. I'm a living testimony of not having a penny, not having breakfast, not having lunch, not even having dinner. But because of the tenacity of my mom, who would write back after the letter got to dad and the letter got to mom, dad did not write a single line. Mom decided that she was going to write back. And the content of the letter was, son, you got to keep going. You got to keep pressing on. You can't give up now, because you can't come back. I'm not in a position to help you out. Your dad, he does everything. He takes care of you. And so this is now your opportunity to move on. Go and experience life for yourself. I was in shock. I went into my little bedroom without window. I would cry that day, hopelessly, and saying to myself, I really have to try now to make something of myself, because I'm fatherless. To an extent, I'm motherless. I have no brother. I have no sister, or I have no brothers. I have no sisters, but I'm left on my own now to go and try life for myself. But mind you now, what's today's topic? The need for courage, right? Life and death lies in the tongue. So the content of my mom's letter, like I said, was, son, child, You got to keep pushing on. You got to keep pressing on. You got to keep going. Because my intention now was to go to Nigeria and to further my education. Because it was just, it was more like I was in the wilderness. It was more like I was at the Red Sea, hopeless, helpless, penniless, you name it all. No money, I was broke. They didn't really even have a place to actually stay. Seeking refuge. But mom's letter, mom words were encouragement to keep the fire burning. Mind you, now I started going to this church. This is a testimony for you. Life and death lies in the tongue. So you need to believe it. Life and death lies in the tongue. Mom said, son, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing on. You got to keep pressing on. You can't give up. You can't throw in the towel. And so I grabbed it. Started going to the church. Man, I was already going to this church. I was already involved with the church. But that just really changed my perspective. It was actually a defining moment for me now to double up my effort. If I was moving at the speed of 20 miles per hour, now I started moving at the speed of 99 miles per hour. I was not passive at all. Became very aggressive. But you know what? Begin to seek the face of God. The all-powerful one. Already was aligned with a, I'm talking about good people, the right people in the right environment. If it had not been for mom's letter, mom saying, son, you can't come back. You got to keep pressing on. You got to keep pushing. And so now, with mom words, with mom commitment, mom dedication, being selfless, because she could have been selfish to say, my son, you have to come back. You can't go. Come back. Like we say, if we're going to eat dry rice, we'll eat the dry rice. If we're going to lay on the floor, we will lay on the floor. If whatever we have, if we have to go and get the lapa to make some clothes for you to wear, then we will have to do it. So come back and we eat whatever we have. But mom wrote a letter of courage, encouraging me to keep pressing on, to keep pushing. The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. Be careful what you say to your children. Be careful what you alter. I'm calling all of you tonight to be courageous, to keep pushing, to keep pressing on. Do not be afraid to support your children in whatever they decide to do. If your child decides that he or she wants to be a chef, give her that support. If a child decides that he wants to travel, and you think that child, maybe you're thinking that the child is too, this is my only child. I cannot allow this child to leave me, or I won't allow this child to venture in this activity or that activity. And because of your own selfish act and gratification, you're holding that child down. I found myself actually in a position where I was hopeless. Wrote letters to mom. Mom, you are my hero. One would say heroic. I give it to mom in spite of all that we went through. And this story brings me to the this dichotomy of divinity that I usually use, by this great theologian, Charles Ryrie, who espoused the dichotomy, espoused that we as Christians, we of the Christian family, often find ourselves between two spectrums of the Godhead. Ryrie suggested that one spectrum of the Godhead he called the knowability spectrum, the other he called the incomprehensibility spectrum. There are times in our lives where we will fast, we will pray. Just do everything that we try to do it right in order to succeed. Fasting, praying, abstaining ourselves from ungodly things, yet and still, God does not answer our prayers. And that was where I found myself, because after all of the struggles and the pain and agony, the trials and tribulations that I went through, now, I had a job and I was in the position now to take care of my mom, to rescue my mom from all of the things that she went through when I was younger. In 2021, in 2020, 2021, mom took sick, has single toothache, battle it, sent her to Ghana to get some treatment and things of that nature. Mom wouldn't survive it and would die in 2021. So tonight, I personally want to say in this public manner that I don't think I would have made it thus far if it wasn't for mom's tenacity, if it wasn't for mom's courage, the need for courage. If it wasn't for mom's letter that she wrote me to say, son, even though she was illiterate, she could not read, she could not write, but she asked someone to pen a letter to me. And that letter encouraged me when dad, who could write, who could read, never got a phone call from Liberia, never got a message from Liberia. No one never encouraged me. I had to find my own path. The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. Life and death is in the tongue. We have to be encouraged. Mom is gone, but she still remains. Mom is gone, her legacy still remains. So, Mom, I want to encourage all of you to keep up the good fight, to encourage your children, to support your children in their endeavors, in whatever they choose to do. You have to be there to support them. You're not a doctor, but you want your son to be a doctor. You're not a lawyer, but you want this kid who wants to be an accountant, and you want to ensure at all costs that particular son of yours become a doctor when he has not been called to be that. You need to encourage him to be whatever he's been called to be. The need for courage. We have to encourage ourselves, encourage our children, because it doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter your address. It doesn't matter your need, your last need. The book says that greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. If Mom had not written me to encourage me, if Mom had been discouraged, if she was selfish and not selfless, to deprive her emotion and say, son, you got to keep pressing on. Son, you got to keep moving. So I say to you, Mom, tonight, your legacy now, whatever I'm doing now, is all dedicated to Mom. Whoever I have become now is dedicated to mom. The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. Whatever you say, be mindful. It has a propensity to come to pass. Whatever you say, because even before you even alter a word, you have already processed it in your mind. Do not worry about your current condition. Where you come from does not determine where you are going. You know, we can tie this to a whole lot. There are examples. Mom is gone, but a legacy now is here. We want to thank you, Mom. Though you are dead, but you're still alive. Because your letter is still being read. Son, go and fight the good fight. Go and don't give up. Walk the good walk. Be respectful in spite of your condition. Stand tall. Walk with your head up and your shoulders squared. Because there is light at the end of the tunnel. And so if you're tuning, you're watching the We Too All Liberians Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing, revolutionizing the thought process of our people. The need for courage. Life and death lies in the tongue. Life and death is in the tongue. It is. You can't be discouraged. Let no man, relegate you to a certain social class. No one knows the plan that God has for you. You was made in the image and likeness of God. We go back to Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans. His thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are not your ways. His plans for you is to bring you to an expected end. It doesn't matter who your mom is. People will try to relegate you to a lapa seller, to a kala seller, to a bassa woman, to a crew lady, an uneducated father, but it does not determine where you are going. Tonight, I want to encourage all of our moms in the diaspora and locally in Liberia that we need to encourage our children. We need to support our children. It doesn't matter who the dad is. No one can determine another person's future. No one has the ability to determine who a child's life will end up being. If it was so, we've heard a whole lot. People have talked about us. So it doesn't matter what's your current condition. It doesn't matter the situation that you're going through. And like I said before, boxes are for things and not for people. Your opportunity may be 6 feet away or maybe 200 miles away. Do not be afraid to take risks. Do not be afraid to step out of the box, because that's where your opportunity might be. Your lifestyle does not have to be conventional. Just like they have the Orthodox Church. They have this tradition, this way of life that people are, stuck to a particular way of life. No, you have been called. You're wonderfully and fearfully made. The need for courage. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. We need to speak life into our kids. With mom courage, Mom dedication, her commitment, I am where I am today. I'm not taking credit from my dad and the entire village of people, my stepmom, my brothers, my sisters that helped me. But there were times in my life I was told before by a brother of mine that they were doing us a favor or doing me a favor. They would build fence around the house and would never come in. Do I care? No. Naked you came and naked you will return. So you got to fight to equip yourself. See the word different. Be encouraged. Be humble. Be assertive. Steady to show yourself approved. It is important. The need for courage. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. A life and death is in the tongue. It is. You have the ability to say, let there be. Be selfless. Sometimes you have to let your emotion be buried so that someone else will thrive. Mom had to do that for me. It was a courage. I want to thank Mom for the courage, even though you're dead. And to all the moms around the world, do not give up. Do not throw in the towel. Support your children. Support their dreams. Even if the child wants to be a chef, we must support them. If that child wants to be a carpenter, we must support them. If that child wants to travel and to be something that you've never seen or never heard of, long as that thing is not causing any problem, it's not creating any societal problem, we must support our own. And do not be ashamed of where you come from. Do not be ashamed of your mom. It doesn't matter. You can change the narrative. You can change that story. The need for courage. It was courage. It was the courage of our ancestors, to conclude with now, that gave Ghana our independence. It was the courage of our ancestors today. Now that you have blacks and white going to the same school, it was the courage of our ancestors that actually brought about or established the University of Timbuktu in the city of Sankore. The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. I want to thank all of you for viewing. I don't know your current condition. I don't know where you are, Mom. I don't know what is going on in that child's life. But you have to encourage that child. You have to support that child. The child's dream, support that child. It doesn't matter who's the father, his last name, his economic and social status. No. We have to speak life into our kids. Life more abundantly. These kids are kings and queens. Who have ever believed that Dr. King would change the civil rights movement? Who have ever believed Harriet Tubman would free 300 black men, slaves? Who have ever believed Kwame Nkrumah would change the political landscape of Ghana? Ghana would gain independence. Who have ever thought Ibrahim Traoré would make a difference in Niger? Who have ever thought that Rwanda would be where she is today? The need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. We believe, the We Too movement believe, that Liberia will change. Liberia will be better. We will be able to grow our kids in harmony. Produce quality individuals. The need for courage. Again, I want to dedicate this show to my mom, who's deceased. Mom, if it hadn't have been for your courage, for your tenacity, and by the special grace of God, I'm not sure where I will be. In collaboration with the village of people that supported me to be at this place. Families that supported me, that helped me out to be at this junction. So let us not give up. Let us not throw in the towel. It doesn't matter who's your family, how dysfunctional the family is. You can still make it. Align yourself with the right people. Be encouraged instead of to show yourself approved. Keep your head up. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You're the first and not the last. You're kings and queens. You're winners. Be encouraged. You can be whatever you want to be if you put your mind to it. I'm a living testimony of being a destitute to almost everything. People laughed at me. People ridiculed me. People mocked me. People talked about me. And the reason why we can't give up, we have a lot of examples. The one that you worship, Jesus, they talked about him. He's been gone 2,000 years ago. We're still talking about him. We must be encouraged. Life and death is in the tongue. His plans for you is to bring you to an unexpected end. Speak life into your kids. Speak life and speak life more abundantly. We're giving up on our kids. We really get them to the Zogos. Oh, he's gone. That one is good for nothing. No, he's not. Keep praying. Keep fasting for them. And at the same time, you got to get the work done. Support him in everything that they're doing. Support them at home. Support them when they're at church. On the basketball court. At school. That's what we have to do. Again, tonight's show is dedicated to all of our moms around the world. Mom, we love you. We say you are champions. Without you, we will be nothing. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for the tenacity to push us beyond our limits so as to be at this point. And so we want to thank all of our viewers tonight. We're a little over time, but this show was just to encourage some young man, some young woman, and with the courage of my mom, I like to say as I conclude the show, I have gotten to this point in my life. I'm still a work in progress. We cannot give up on our children. Do not give up on your kids. There is a need for courage. There is a need to hold tight, to keep the faith. Just because that kid now is going through a period of transition, you're giving up on her. You're giving up on him. Need for courage. Life and death is in the tongue. So I'd like to close quickly again with the quote. Jeremiah 11:29, which is the Bible verse I said, for I know the plans that I have for you, the plans to prosper you, to bring you to an expected end. Do not allow your adversity to hold you down. Do not allow what they told you to keep you suppressed and oppressed and subjugated. You are head. You're not the tail. You're first and not the last. We Too movement. We have the strong ability now to say to you that Liberia is going to be better. Liberia is going to be brought up to the top someday. And it's not even far. It's very close. So thank you very much for watching. This is how we conclude this session of the show. Tonight, our topic, once again, is the need for courage life and death lies in the power of the tongue. So we want you to speak life into your kids, to encourage your kids, because words are spirit. God said, let there be, and there was. So let us all be encouraged, and let us speak life into our kids. And what we speak will sooner or later come to reality. This is how we conclude this session of the show. I've been your host, Ciaita Williams. I look forward to seeing you here, hopefully in the next few days. Enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to talking to you. Bye for now.
Simple life, it's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter.